Okay, it has been a week and I don't even know where to start. I'm sure you've had weeks where you're thinking, there's just no way I can show up fully the way I was supposed to in my business. Just to give you some background, on Saturday, my son was in a bad car accident. He is fine. Fine is relative, but he, did walk away from the accident, which looking at the cars doesn't look like that would have been possible. So we feel incredibly blessed. But the week has been a bit hectic. Doctor's visits, attorney visits, talking to insurance companies, you name it, that's been the week. And on top of that, I was having work done on my house that started this week. And there was Las Vegas Market for those of you interior designers who were here or like to visit Vegas for Las Vegas Market. I was there on Monday as well. So this week took a turn. And as I record this episode, I have about 6 people in my house working on my house, banging and slamming doors. And it's a Friday. I don't work on Fridays. All of this to say that this episode could have not happened. And because I actively work on not having the mindset of all or nothing, now or never, which is today's episode topic, I knew that I could still show up, but in a different way. So I went back to the archives and found today's episode. It was way back in episode 208, and it is a good one. And it is a topic that comes up frequently with my clients. And I thought it was completely relevant to what I'm going through right now and why I was still able to deliver this episode to you this week. I'm Amber De La Garza, and you're listening to the Small Business Straight Talk podcast. If you're a successful, busy, small business owner who wants the straight talk on self-leadership, personal productivity, financial clarity, operational efficiency, team leadership, and business strategy to maximize profits, reduce stress, and make time for what matters most, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you've joined me. So today is episode 429, All or Nothing, Now or Never. Today's episode is going to be an encore episode. This is one that I loved the first time around, and the message is just as relevant today. It's relevant for me. I know it's going to be relevant for you, and it is a topic that I cover frequently with my private coaching clients. So I'm excited for you to re-listen to this if you are a long time listener, like 4 years ago, or this is going to be a brand new episode for you, and I wanted to make sure you do not miss it. Today, I'm going to be sharing the paradigm shift that keeps you stuck, where it shows up in your schedule, your health goals, and your business projects, and one question that can break that cycle for you too. And now let's get to the straight talk. As a coach, a lot of the work that I do is not solely just in strategy or tactics or how to, but some real work around the way we think, the way we perceive, the way we make decisions, the way we process. We work a lot on that because sometimes we have embedded beliefs, we have embedded thoughts, we have things that we have thought for so long that we believe are just true, that if we do not work through them, there is no strategy, there is no how-to that can stand up to that. And so, with all good change, all real change, it really needs to happen in our mind first. So today I'm going to ask you to entertain the idea of making a paradigm shift in the way that you're thinking. And the thought that I want to share with you today has such a rippling effect on your productivity and how you show up in your business. It's mind-blowing. And the number of times that I work with my clients on this thought and how it can creep up and show up and affect the way that we make decisions with where we're putting our time, energy, and attention is mind-blowing. So, paradigm shift. I want you to limit and or stop thinking all or nothing, now or never. That mentality is not serving you well at all. Now, the mentality is that you have only two options, and there are two extreme options like black and white, and there is no gray space in between. The irony of this perspective or this thought pattern is that we often don't realize that we're actually thinking this way. But I want to give you some examples of areas in which you may be thinking all or nothing, now or never. All right, so here's some real life examples. If I asked you as your business productivity coach, what would your ideal week look like? And you would say, I don't want to work Fridays. I truly would love a day for myself and to work on hobbies and projects so that I can have the weekend with my family. Let's just say that is a goal of yours. But right now, with the reality you live in, it's all or nothing. And it's going to happen now or never. And so that feels defeating. But let's just take the one thought, all or nothing. Right now, the way that your business runs and operates and the support you have, meaning your current reality, it may be absolutely true that it is not wise for you to take every Friday off. But if you dropped the all or nothing and asked a different question, could you take every other Friday off? Could you take half a day every Friday off? Could you take Friday at 3 o'clock when the kids get out of school off? What? Like, you're saying that if I can't have all day Friday off, and that's not my current reality, it almost stops there, oftentimes stops right there. And we don't ask additional questions of what is possible right now? What would feel like a stretch, but is absolutely possible, and taking those steps would get me to the reality of being able to take every Friday off. So if you want to take Fridays off, like me, right? So I don't take all Fridays off, but if you go back and listen to the episode where I decided I was not doing an episode every week, I shared with you that I made the decision that I was taking many Fridays off through the summer and every Friday afternoon off for sure, right? But for that to be a reality of something that I could implement, I had to make decisions in the business to support that. So I would not have thought, oh, I can take a lot of Fridays off, or I could take every half Friday off if my only thought was, wouldn't it be nice if I took every Friday off? And then I'm hit with reality, and then it doesn't go anywhere. There is no movement. There is no gray. There is no progress. It is immediately shut off. Now you see what I'm talking about. All or nothing. How about this? How about working out, right? Maybe you have a goal to start working out again. And you're thinking, it would be so great to go to the gym or go for a run 5 days a week. Because that's ideally where you see yourself. Like, you're seeing your future self as someone that gets up, has this routine, leaves the house, and can go work out. But That is so drastically different than your current routine, as in you've got to get the kids ready for school. You might have early meetings. You might have responsibilities later in the evening, so it doesn't allow you to wake up earlier. There's a lot of logistics around that need to be solved for to make it a reality that you can get up early, leave the house, and go work out at the gym. So if you're not running it through all or nothing, can you go to the gym once a week? And maybe that's a Saturday right now, because during the week, you are on duty with the kids. Can you go for a walk after you start work for lunchtime? Can you get out and move your body in nature in some other way, right? I'm just riffing here. My point is this. If you have a vision and you say solely with that vision and you run it through the filter of it has to be that or nothing, then you are not going to be making any forward progress into living into that future self. How about another business one? Creating SOP, standard operating procedures, right? I'm just throwing this out there. That can be a huge project. It's a huge project that my team and I have taken on this year. And I know how big of a project it is. And I know how valuable it is to have processes and updated checklists and the job descriptions that match. Like, we live that out, but we've been working on updating all of those this year, which can be a pretty big project. Now, if I thought it had to be done right away, like right now, because my business has to have SOPs, I may freeze and never get started, right? And so my question to you would be, would your business be better off with just one more checklist? Would your business be any better off with one more process? And when you get that process and checklist and you're reaping the benefits of the efficiency for you and your team, would it be possible to create one more SOP, one more checklist, one more how-to process? Yes. And so now we're not running it through all or nothing, meaning we have to figure out how to get all the SOPs done, all the checklists done. Yes, but we've been working on them for 6 months because I wasn't going to stop everything else that was going on in the business to create SOPs. We had a business to run. So my goal was, how do we keep the ball rolling every single week on SOPs? Because it's a process and a journey, and I didn't need to see it through. It has to be done now. Because if we can't rationalize or justify or figure out in our brains of how it can be done now, then we say it's never going to get done, right? Now or never. Another way that now or never thinking comes up that sabotages you every single day is when you have something that comes into your world. It's an email, it's a client that needs something, it's a team member that needs something. Oh my gosh, it's the next best amazing idea that you have. Because you think now or never, you immediately jump on it and sabotage your plan for the day. It hijacks any plan that you did have because you're thinking, I need to jump on it because it either happens now or never. And one way that you can rework that thinking is, if not now, when? It's like an open loop. Our brains absolutely need to close that loop and answer the question. But by just changing the question or the thinking of it's now or never, because I don't know when the next time I can do this is, answer the question. If not now, when? So if I come up with a really great idea and I capture it, and I have the discipline to not move into that because I'm already working on the last great plan or idea that I had, then I can say, I captured it and I will revisit it next month. I will revisit it next week. Like, seriously answer the question. If not now, when? This also works with how I teach how to manage your inbox. So inside my masterclass, Conquer Your Email Masterclass, and you can grab that on my website. But in there, I teach you about the importance of knowing when you are processing emails and having it on a regular time on your schedule. Because when the emails come in, if you don't know when you're ever going to get back to them, whether that's later today, tomorrow, or next week, then anytime you're in your inbox, you are going to respond to everything. You're going to do everything, and it's going to completely hijack your day. It becomes a rabbit hole that you get into once you get in your inbox. So if you change the thinking of, I don't need to do this now, like I don't need to jump into my inbox now because I know I'm going to be in there at 2:00. That's it. You've just now given yourself the mental bandwidth and freedom to not think about your inbox until 2:00 because you are certain you know when. And you're not filtering it through, if not now, never. Right? Okay. Now, this thinking is going to be kind of like, either you were aware of it and you might have not been able to put words around it, or you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I was thinking this way and that it was affecting how I show up. It's going to be kind of like, it's called recency bias. It's when a situation or someone brings something to your attention and then suddenly it seems everywhere. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen for you this week after listening to this episode. And that's good. Like, I want you to be paused as you're observing your thoughts and thinking, am I making this decision? Am I moving through this with the thought of all or nothing, now or never? Right? Okay. So how is this thinking sabotaging your productivity in business? Number one, it stops you from ever getting started because you're not taking the time to see the path, the gray space in between. You're not recognizing that any change is always an evolution and a process. If I told you I wanted to lose 15 pounds, I can't just say, and tomorrow I've lost 15 pounds. I have to mentally see that that's a path. Like, today I'm here, tomorrow I'm there, and 2 weeks and 3 weeks, what does that look like? How do I have to live that out in all that gray space to get to that I've lost 15 pounds? Well, the same thing is true with our time. The same thing is true with our schedule. The same thing is true how we show up as a leader or how we show up in our businesses. Is that if you're wanting something and you're clear about where it is that you want to go, can you back it up and not say that it has to be that way out of the gate? What do those versions look like that can get you there? And if you can be okay with all those versions that get you there on that path, I guarantee you're going to be a lot more excited to get started. It sabotages your business and your productivity because you're not giving yourself options. That's number two, is you're not giving yourself creative options to move through taking action. And so when things seem like black and white, then if it doesn't fit, if the strategy doesn't fit into that black and white option, then there's no action taken. So give yourself options. Get incredibly creative with what it is that you want to obtain. Number three is you don't see solutions in the gray that might be right in front of you. So it's kind of like you're not giving yourself options, but here's another variation. You may not have actually had the two best options. So when you're thinking that it's all or nothing or black or white, and it's very like, this is the way it needs to be, you are not giving yourself the opportunity to step into something that is really easy. I call it path of least resistance. Could it be easy for you to decide to leave the office 2 hours early on a Friday? Yes. Like 2 hours early on a Friday is not going to have a dramatic impact on your business, but it may have a big impact on your kids getting so excited that you surprise picked them up and you go for ice cream and you have a movie night with the family. Like, I don't know, that's my Friday night. That's this Friday night for us is we're doing a movie night, right? Like, what is that for you? Maybe that 2 hours is that run out in nature that I was talking about on a Friday afternoon. Maybe that 2 hours is volunteering in a place that you feel like your heart is calling you, but you're running it through all or nothing, that you have to volunteer in the super big way. So you can't see that fitting into your life or your business or your responsibilities right now. But what would that look like if you left at 3:00 on Friday and said, I'm spending those 2 hours to go volunteer and just get started volunteering and making an impact? Again, options. And path of least resistance says start small and then get big, right? All right, so you may not be seeing all of the opportunities in the amazingly great areas of that journey between where you see yourself in the future and where you're at right now. And then lastly, ultimately, this thinking just limits your growth. If we're stagnated and not taking action, and we're not taking these opportunities that are right in front of us that we can't see, by result, we're limiting our growth, both personally, right, in who we get to be, and the growth in our business. So I invite you to be incredibly observant of the way that you think, and are you filtering it through all or nothing, now or never? And as you observe yourself thinking that way, I want you to look for the gray. I want you to look for what is the next best small step that will get you to where you want to go. Is there an in-between? What are the alternatives that you can brainstorm? Because I know you're incredibly smart. And I know that they're right there. You have them already available to you if you do not get stuck in this thinking. All right, go start today. Start today with version 1.0 of what your gray space area looks like, of moving into taking action in places that you're telling yourself it's not possible because you can't do it all and you can't do it now. This shift in thinking can happen at any time when you ask the right questions. And you stop waiting for all. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions. You stop thinking that it needs to look one way and look for the right next step. I have loved having you listen to this episode of the Small Business Straight Talk podcast. And I sure hope you found today's conversation about this paradigm shift, mindset shift, questioning what sometimes we just see as absolute thinking or black and white thinking. But I need to be straight with you. No change, no change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you or your business. So this week, I want you to first just observe when you are thinking all or nothing, now or never. And then shift into asking a different question. Look at the gray space. Look at it may not look like a brand new episode as was supposed to be planned, because I would have never thought I was going to do 2 encore episodes back to back. But I had to find what was possible with the constraints and the situation I found myself in. And you're going to find yourself in sticky situations all the time as a business owner. So what is that gray space? What is the next step that can move you closer to what it is that you actually want to create? And in this situation, I had to say, what is it that I actually wanted to create? Well, my first goal was I wanted to ensure an episode got out to our listeners. Number 2, I wanted to ensure that I was not going to be working for hours on my day off, and I needed to recapture time so that I could do all the other things that didn't happen this week, in addition to creating and recording a brand new podcast episode. So with that in mind about what my goal was there another way to get to that same result? And that's where today's episode came from. But you can use that own self-coaching and questioning in your own business and life every single day. So that's what I want you to do this week is observe your thoughts and look for opportunities that you can shift into the gray or shift into what is the right next step right now towards the goal you're going for. And if you have been telling yourself that real change in your business is all or nothing, now or never, and you find yourself with this thought pattern and many others that might be holding you back from the next level of your business, I would love to talk to you because this is the exact work I do with my private coaching clients. Is first help them uncover what thoughts and beliefs are limiting them from the next level, and then work through with them on strategies, repositioning, different questions to ask to get them unstuck. So if you are interested in working with me and you want to learn more about what that can look like, I would love for you to head on over to amberdelagarza.com/coaching. Again, that's amberdelagarza.com/coaching. And then you're going to schedule a discovery call and we're going to just chat about what your goals are, where you're at, and we'll determine together if coaching together is the right next step for you and your business. And if you are new here, I just want to say welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss another episode. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to share it with a fellow business owner. That is the biggest thank you and show of appreciation that I could ask is that you help spread the word of this podcast and the work that I do here today on the podcast. So that's my straight talk for today. Until next time, have a productive week.